And I'm back. To say better than ever seems a little dramatic, but hey guys, welcome back to Party of One podcast. This is season 2 of the podcast. Season 2 is all about getting out of your comfort zone and actually doing it, seeing it from my perspective, and hopefully giving you some kind of confidence to do the same. It's also a lot about understanding more of why life happens the way it happens, and I'll be explaining that a lot more through my experiences, but also through my faith. A lot of what I know and a lot of the reasons why my mindset is the way it is right now is because I have dove deeper into learning about the promises of God. Don't click off if you are not in that space. It is totally okay. Sometimes you can learn a lot of things from people, even if you don't have the same beliefs, whether right now or you just don't have the same beliefs. And so I want to just be able to create content that allows you to challenge your mind more, to become a stronger person mentally, because when you're stronger mentally, nothing can break you physically. And I wholeheartedly believe that it starts with your mind. And I think when we're so consumed with our everyday lives, like our work and school and people and environments, you're not allowed or afforded the best opportunities to operate in the best space that you want to see yourself as, because people just know you as that. So anytime someone continues to remind you of who you are or how you act, and you know you don't want to keep acting like that, it's harder to see a new version for yourself. So I decided, let's start making content in places that are unfamiliar, or in places that challenges you to be in an open space. I haven't made content in 3 months. I know. But sometimes you don't realize that you need a break until you start taking one. And if you don't end up prioritizing taking a break, your body will take one for you. Not in the way of sickness, or not in the way of maybe anything that's a little bit more physical, but sometimes you just feel uninspired. And those are the times when it's okay to take a break. But the times when you just feel like you're not meant to do it, or imposter syndrome setting in, challenge those thoughts and make the content anyways. There's a difference between feeling like you're not good enough to do it and doing it, but needing some time for life to happen to talk about those experiences. Getting out of your comfort zone doesn't mean to go jump out of an airplane and go skydiving. It can be as little as putting yourself in places, in a new coffee shop outside of, doing your work in your room every day, or deciding to sit with a group of people. It seems like these things are hard, but they're only hard in your head, which is why you have to push yourself to do more. You can push past the limit you're putting on yourself. It doesn't seem like it because it's so horrendous when you think about that thought, but the minute that you do it once, you're like, okay, I've did it. I can do it again. But the longer you think about how it could turn out, you'll never be in a space where you'll want to try anything new, because you're so paralyzed by the fear of it. Making the first move is scary, but not moving at all is even scarier. It's like knowing that you'll always sit in the same place, see the same kind of people, in the same environment every day. That's not living life, and it's a lot easier said than done, absolutely. But when you push past the barrier in your mind, because it's not people, it's not the places that you work or study at, it's you. Your mind works against you sometimes. And the minute that you start working together with your mind, as far as telling yourself positive affirmations, telling yourself that you are worthy to be the person that you want to become, whatever that looks like. It doesn't have to be content creation. It doesn't have to be something that, many people want. It can be as simple as just graduating college. It can be as simple as just mending a relationship that you want to mend, but your mind tells you this person did this thing on this day 5, 10, 12 years ago. So I'm going to go my whole life knowing that every day is not promised, and continue to be stuck in how I felt about them then. Both people and places, they grow. They don't stay the same. It may look the same, but things are different. And I think when you realize that every day is not promised, you start to move a little differently. And you especially start to move a little differently when you've experienced that with people close to you. There's this video that I saw on Instagram and TikTok a couple times actually, and I wanted to make sure that I incorporated it into one of these episodes. It's a podcast, and I don't remember what it is, but I'm sure if you type in, similar words, you can find it. He says, if I gave you $10 million right now, nothing and nobody, no matter what they said or what they did, could ruin your mood, right? Like, if anyone gets $10 million, absolutely, you are not changing my mind about the fact that someone hit someone's car or someone just told you off for whatever reason. And then he said, if I gave you $10 million, but you knew you could not wake up tomorrow, would you still choose the $10 million? And of course they said no, because you have $10 million for maybe less than 24 hours. So if $10 million is less important than waking up, that should give a perspective shift into every day there's breath in my lungs, I should be doing something with it. It doesn't mean I have to do something so grandiose with it. I don't have to always make a big move every day. But if it was just so simple as to smiling at someone when you try to stay a little bit hidden, or so simple as to holding the door open for someone, it can be a minuscule task, but big to you because you don't do it. It's a part of the person you want to become, but you don't do it yet. And so the point is getting out of your comfort zone requires being uncomfortable. Part of the word is comfort, but the other part is uncomfortable. And so I feel like I can speak to it a little bit better only because I have been doing it so long with this podcast. It's been a year since I've started this podcast. This time last year, I started this podcast, and I could have never imagined the platform that it would have given me. I just honestly wanted to create content and get better at what I do, which is video editing. And now I have a platform where I help people and give different perspectives. And I may not help everybody, but that's not the goal. The goal is to create content that I am proud of. And if along the way it helps someone think a little differently about life, that's God's work, not mine. So finding a cause, finding something that is much bigger than yourself is honestly the first step in getting out of your comfort zone and shifting your perspective. I could not do what I do without God. I've never been shy of my faith, and I never will be, because everything that I have is that's afforded to me is through Him. I think it's easy when you hear stuff like that and you hear people talk about how big and great faith is, and it's hard to believe in something that you can't see. It really is. Just because I talk about it so much on my platforms doesn't mean there aren't times where it feels like, oh my goodness, I just don't feel anything. But that is the time that you have to fight the hardest mentally, because something is stopping you or trying to stop you from thinking that you are alone, and you are not alone. Every single second of your life, God is with you. We're just spirits. We are spirits having a minor physical experience. That is it. We get 80 to 90 years, maybe, if we're lucky, on this earth. And then what? For some people, that is the finishing sentence. But I know in my heart, they say if you have a faith as small as a mustard seed is probably this big, like not even the size of a peppercorn. It's much smaller than that. If you just believe and truly believe in your heart, not with your words, but in your heart, that there is more after this life,